respiration, types of respiration, and muscles of respiration. That is the in case of quiet respiration and forced respiration. Pressure that causes the movement of air in and out of the lungs. The pressure which causes the movement of air in and out of the lungs. That is the in case of respiration or pressure.
ম্যাম স্লাইড দেখা যাচ্ছে না।
স্লাইড দেখা যাচ্ছে না। ক্যামেরা কি অফ নাকি? এবার দেখা যাচ্ছে?
Yes, ma'am.
Pressure that causes the movement of air in and out of the lung, that is the alveolar pressure and interpleural pressure. Alveolar pressure, interpleural pressure and transpulmonary pressure. Three pressures are required, that is alveolar pressure, interpleural pressure and transpulmonary pressure. Pleural pressure and it changes during expiration. Now what is pleural pressure? Pleural pressure. It is the pressure of the fluid within the thin space between the lung pleura and the chest pleura. We know that is the lung externally covered by a thin layer of pleura, and chest cavity there is a pleural pressure. It is the pressure of the fluid in the thin space between the lung pleura and the chest pleura. The pleural lining that is covered the chest wall, and between the space between the chest pleura and the lung pleura, the thin space. Then this fluid within this space is called the pressure within this fluid is called the pleural pressure. This is normally a slight suction, which means the slightly negative pressure. This pleural pressure is negative pressure. The normal pressure is at the beginning of the inspiration is about -5 centimeter of water. That is the -2.5 millimeter of water, which is the amount of suction required to hold the lung open to the resting level. A pressure time is the inspiration, it is -5 centimeter of water, which is the amount of suction required to hold the lung open at the rest. This -5 centimeter water or -2.5 centimeter of water is required to open the lung, to hold the lungs open at the resting level. During resting level, 2.5 millimeter of mercury pressure is required to open the lung at their resting level. That's the pleural pressure. It is the pressure of the fluid in the thin space between the lung pleura and the chest-wall pleura. Then during normal inspiration, expansion of the chest case pull outward on the lungs with a greater force and creates the more negative pressure to an average about minus 7.5 centimeter of water, that is minus 6 millimeter of mercury. Then during expiration, these events are essentially reversed. So during the normal inspiration, expansion of the chest case pull outward of the lung with a greater force and creates the more negative pressure. So do you know that during inspiration the anterior-posterior diameter of the chest wall is increased and anterior-posterior and vertical diameter of the chest wall is increased and creates the negative pressure, which causes the inflow of air into the chest cavity. That is the lung alveoli. So during the normal inspiration, expansion of the chest case pull outward on the lung with greater force and creates more negative pressure to an average about minus 7.5 centimeter of water, that is minus 6 millimeter of mercury. And during expiration, these events are essentially reversed. During expiration, this pressure is usually positive in nature and expels the air from the lungs to the atmosphere. You can say this is the pleural pressure or alveolar pressure. And between the pleural pressure and alveolar pressure is the difference between alveolar pressure and pleural pressure is the transpulmonary pressure. The changes in the lung volume, alveolar pressure, pleural pressure and transpulmonary pressure during the normal breathing. During inspiration, that is the inspiration, the pleural pressure is negative, minus 7.5, and during expiration that is the above this is positive pressure. During alveolar pressure, during inspiration it is equal to minus 1, and alveolar pressure is during expiration is plus 1. Alveolar pressure is the pressure of the air inside the lung alveoli, is the alveolar pressure. Pressure of the air inside the lung alveoli is called the alveolar pressure. When the glottis is open, no air is flowing into or out of the lung. The pressure in all parts of the respiratory tree all the way to the alveoli are equal to the atmospheric pressure, which is considered to be the zero reference pressure is always minus. That is the 0 centimeter of water pressure. Now, the alveolar pressure is the pressure of the air inside the lung alveoli. When the glottis is open, no air is flowing into or out of the lungs. The pressure in all parts of the respiratory tree all the way to the alveoli are equal to the atmospheric pressure, which is considered to be zero reference pressure in the airways, that is minus, so that the 0 centimeter water pressure. We know the alveolar pressure is equal to 0 or minus pressure, always in minus. In case of inspiration, that is minus, and in case of expiration, that is plus. This is the, during inspiration it is minus, and during expiration it is plus. To cause inward flow of air into the alveoli during inspiration. হয়নি আগেরটা কি হয়নি
না ম্যাম
Right.
ম্যাম হয়েছে।
To cause inward flow of air into the alveoli during inspiration, the alveoli must fall to a value slightly below the atmospheric pressure. That is the atmospheric pressure. When the glottis is open, no air enter into the lung, then the pressure is equal to 0. But in case of inspiration, this alveoli during inspiration, this alveoli must fall to a value slightly below the 0. That is the negative pressure. During normal inspiration, the alveolar pressure decreases to about minus 1 centimeter of water. And slight negative pressure is enough. This slight negative pressure, small decrease of pressure, is enough to pull the 0.5 liter of air into the lung in the 2 seconds required for the normal quiet inspiration. We know that we require 2 centimeter, 2 seconds for inspiration and 0.5 liter of the 500 milliliter of air into the lung. So it's like negative pressure, it is enough to pull the 0.5 liter of air into the lungs in the 2 seconds required for the normal quiet inspiration.
ম্যাম স্লাইড দেখা যাচ্ছে না।
লেখা আছে? লেখা আছে?
ম্যাম স্লাইড দেখা যাচ্ছে না।
কি ব্যাপার, দেখা যাচ্ছে না কেন?
দেখা যাচ্ছে ম্যাম, দেখতে পাচ্ছি।
কেউ বলছে পাচ্ছে না, কেউ বলছে পাচ্ছি, ব্যাপার কি? দেখা যাচ্ছে এখন? দেখা যাচ্ছে?
Yes, ma'am.
আচ্ছা। During expiration, opposite pressure occurs. The alveolar pressure rises to about plus 1 centimeter of water, and this forces the 0.5 liter of inspired air out of the lungs during last 2 to 3 seconds of expiration. So, in case of inspiration, the pressure is below the 0 centimeter of water, minus 1 centimeter of water. And during expiration, opposite pressure occurs, the alveolar pressure rises to about plus 1 centimeter of water. And this forces the 0.5 liter of inspired air out of the lungs during last 2 to 3 seconds of expiration. During inspiration, we take 0.5 liter of water, 5 liter of air, and during expiration, we experience 5 liter of air into the out of the lungs. During inspiration, it takes 2 seconds, and during expiration, it takes 2 to 3 seconds. This is the alveolar area. So that is the first the pleural pressure, and then alveolar pressure. Alveolar pressure is the pressure in the lungs alveoli. Pleural pressure is the thin space between the pleural lung pleura and chestal pleura. And transpulmonary pressure This is the difference between the alveolar pressure and the pleural pressure. It's called the transpulmonary pressure. It is the pressure difference between that the alveoli in the alveoli that on the outer surface of the lung. It is the difference between the lung alveoli and the surface of the lung. There is the pressure difference. Transpulmonary pressure. The difference between the alveolar pressure and the pleural pressure is called the transpulmonary pressure. It is the pressure difference between the lung alveoli and that of the outer surface of the lung. Then the complaints of the lungs. And it is the very important complaints of the lung. The definition jigyasha kore. What is the complaints of the lung? The extent of which the lung will expand for each unit increased transpulmonary pressure is called the lung complaints. One pulmonary pressure increase করলে lung কতটুকু expand করে, that is called the lung complaints. The extent of which the lung will expand for each unit increase in transpulmonary pressure is called lung complaints. The total lung complaints of both lungs together in the normal adult human being averages about 200 millimeter of air per centimeter water transpulmonary pressure. That is the one it being this complaint কতটুকু extend করতে পারে, extend to 200 millimeter of air per centimeter water transpulmonary pressure. যদি 1 unit যদি হয় তাহলে 200 millimeter of air enters into the expand the lung. This is every time the transpulmonary pressure increases 1 centimeter water of the lung volume after 10 to 20 seconds will expand 200 millimeters. On 1 centimeter water pressure it will expand 200 millimeters. So the complaints of the lung, the extent of the lung, extent which the lung will expand. This is called the complaints of the lung. For each unit increase transpulmonary pressure. This is called the lung complaints. It is about 200 milliliter each unit increase in transpulmonary pressure. If it increases 1 centimeter of water, lung volume of 10 to 20 seconds will expand 200 milliliters. Complaints of the lung. That is the extent of lung which will expand for each unit increase in transpulmonary pressure is called lung complaints. What is the clinical significance of the lung complaints? Or the lung complaints of doctor can? What is the significance? It is an important measurement in respiratory physiology. Important measurement in respiratory physiology. Low complaints indicate that stiff lung means extra work is needed to bring a normal volume of air. This occurs in case of hydrotic lung. This is the low compliance. If the compliance is low, it indicates that lung is stiff. That is the hydrotic changes in the lung and extra work is needed to bring normal volume of air. This occurs in case of hydrotic lung. In a highly complaint lung as in emphysema, the elastic tissue has been damaged. Patients with emphysema have very high lung complaints. Due to their poor elastic difference, they have no problem inflating the lung, but have extreme difficulty exhaling the air. Air নিতে কোনো অসুবিধা নাই, কিন্তু but exhaling is more difficult. So this is the clinical significance of the lung complex. It is an important measurement in respiratory physiology. No compliance indicate the steep lung with the extravert different. Being a normal volume of air occurs in case of sarcopenia. In the highly compliant lung, as in emphysema, the elastic tissue has been damaged. Patients with emphysema have very high lung compliance due to poor elastic recoil. They have no problem inflating the lungs, but it's difficulty in extending the air. The lung is highly compliant lung, that is emphysema. If the emphysema, elastic tissue has been damaged, the patient of emphysema very high lung compliance. Because due to poor elastic recoil, they have no problem inflating the air, but have extreme difficulty in extending. Now the surfactant, surface tension and collapse of the alveoli. What is surfactant? Surfactant is a surface active agent in water, which means that it greatly reduces the surface tension of water, and it is secreted by the special surfactant secreting epithelial cell called type 2 alveolar epithelial cell, which constituted about 10% of the surface area of the alveoli. Surfactant. This surfactant layer is covering the alveoli. This is the sulfate acting agent and secreted by the type 2 alveolar epithelial cell. It reduces the surface tension of water and secreted by the special surfactant secreting epithelial cell called type 2 alveolar epithelial cell, which constituted about 10% of the surface area of the alveoli. This is called surfactant. That is the surfactant which covers the internal lining of the alveoli and reduces the surface tension of the water. It is secreted by the special surfactant secreting epithelial cell called type 2 epithelial cell. Surfactant is a complex mixture of several phospholipid, protein and ions. The most important components are the phospholipid. Phospholipid dipalmitoyl phosphatidylcholine, surfactant apoprotein and calcium. This dipalmitoyl phosphatidylcholine and several less important phospholipids are responsible for reducing the surface tension. Composition of the surfactant. This is the mixture of phospholipid, proteins and ions. The most important components are the phospholipid, that is dipalmitoyl phosphatidylcholine, surfactant apoprotein and calcium. This dipalmitoyl phosphatidylcholine and several less important phospholipids are responsible for reducing the surface tension. This is the alveoli, and we are lining the type 2 cells. We secrete the surfactant. It's lining the alveoli. It has the two cones at the oily or water polar surfactant apoprotein. How does surfactant lower the surface tension? Surface tension occurs when the water molecules on the surface bond very tightly to other water molecules, both next to and below them. The surfactants are the molecules that are both polar, that is water, and non-polar, that is oil-like, so that they stay on the surface like oil and they do not completely mix with water, but are able to bond to water and prevent water molecules from binding as tightly to one another, thus lowering the surface tension or strength of the surface. How do surfactant lower the surface tension? Surface tension occurs when the water molecules on the surface bond very tightly to other water molecules. মানে একটার সাথে আরেকটা যখন attached থাকে and next to and both below them. The surfactants are the molecules that are both two polar, like a water like and a oil like. So they stay on the surface oil like and do not completely mix with the oil, does not mix with the water, but are able to bond to water and prevent water molecules from binding as tightly to one another, thus lowering the tension or strength of the surface. হয়েছে এটা লেখা হয়েছে
No, ma'am.
হ্যাঁ why lung do not collapse? Lung collapse করে না কেন? Why lung do not collapse? The negative interpleural pressure, you know the pleural pressure is always negative, that is suction pressure. The presence of surfactant that reduces the surface tension of the fluid lining the alveoli. You know the alveoli covers the surfactant. This is the presence of surfactant and that reduces the surface tension of the fluid lining of the alveoli. Next, the presence of residual volume. You know the small amount of air present in the alveoli that is called the residual volume. We know the presence of residual volume. There's the law of Laplace, that is the P equal to 2P divided by R. Here the P is the pressure, P the surface tension, and R the radius. এখানে কি হবে? এখানে রেডিয়াস যত বাড়বে কমবে, প্রেসার তত বাড়বে, প্রেসার তত কমবে। Why the lungs do not collapse? The negative interpleural pressure, presence of surfactant that reduces the surface tension of the fluid lining the alveoli, presence of residual volume, law of Laplace. P equal to 2, 3, that is the surface tension divided by radius. In a spherical structure like alveoli, the distending pressure, that is the P, equals to the 2 times the surface tension divided by the radius. During expiration, alveolar radius is reduced, but if the surface tension of the T is not reduced, positive pressure P will be increased, causing the collapse of the lung. But surfactant reduces the T tension, reduces the tension, and as a result, P cannot be increased, so the collapse of the lung is prevented. How the law of Laplace is preventing the collapse of the lung? That is, that during expiration, alveolar radius is reduced. R is small, but the surface tension, that is the T, is not reduced. That is, the positive pressure will be increased. If the positive pressure will be increased, it causes the collapse of the lung. But surfactant reduces P, and as a result, P cannot be increased, and the collapse of the lung is prevented. বুঝতে লেখা? কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে আমার?
জি ম্যাম।
Yes, ma'am.
লেখা হয়েছে? লেখা হয়েছে?
No, ma'am.
Now, hyaline membrane disease, RDS, that is the respiratory distress syndrome or hyaline membrane. If the premature babies, if the baby born before 28 weeks, do not secrete adequate quantities of surfactant, which makes the lung expansion very difficult. So most of them die soon after birth because inadequate ventilation. This condition is called hyaline membrane disease or respiratory distress syndrome. If the baby, premature baby, if the baby is born before 28 weeks of pregnancy, the alveolar type 2 cell is not fully matured and cannot secrete adequate quantities of surfactant, which makes the lung expansion difficult. So most of them die soon after birth because of inadequate ventilation. This condition is called the hyaline membrane disease or respiratory distress syndrome, RDS. RDS of newborn baby. এটা প্রশ্নটি আসে পরীক্ষা জিজ্ঞাসা করো why RDS? Why the hyaline membrane disease or RDS occur with baby? If the baby is born before 28 weeks of pregnancy, because the lung alveoli does not secrete surfactant, so it does not prevent the collapse of the lung. So it is very difficult to, it is very difficult for ventilation. This condition is called the hyaline membrane disease, and the disease of this hyaline membrane disease is the respiratory distress syndrome. ঠিক আছে Now what for breathing? Under resting condition, the respiratory muscles normally perform what to call inspiration, but do not cause expiration. Normal breathing, the respiratory muscles normally perform what to call inspiration, but do not cause expiration. This work of inspiration can be divided into three functions that require to expand the lung against the lung and chest elastic forces called the compliance work or elastic work. That require to overcome the viscosity of the lung and chest structure called the tissue resistance work, and that require to overcome airway resistance. Now the work of breathing, it is divided into three fractions. First, the compliance work or elastic work, then the tissue resistance work, and then airway resistance work. No. না আপনি করতেছেন Under resting condition, the respiratory muscles normally perform work to cause inspiration, but do not cause expiration. The works of inspiration can be divided into three functions that require to expand the lung against the lung and chest elastic forces called the compliance work or elastic work. That require to overcome the viscosity of the lung and chest structure called the tissue resistance work, and that required to overcome airway resistance. That is the work of breathing. Now this is all about the work of breathing and mechanism of breathing, muscles of breathing, etc. Now the pulmonary volumes and capacities. Measure the pulmonary volume of capacity by an instrument that is called the spirometry. Spirometry. Pulmonary ventilation can be studied by recording the volume and movement of air into and out of the lung. The method is called the pulmometer. This instrument is called the spirometer. The process is the spirometry. Spirometry is done by a special type of instrument named the spirometer. Give this all lung volumes and capacities except residual volume, functional residual capacity and total lung capacity. Top except residual volume, functional residual capacity and total lung capacity. That is the instrument which measures the pulmonary volumes and capacity, that is called the spirometer. And this process is called the spirometry. And all the volumes and capacities are measured except residual volume, functional residual capacity and total lung capacity. In the lung volume, that is tidal volume, inspirated reserve volume, expirated reserve volume and residual volume. Lung capacity, that is inspiratory capacity, functional residual capacity, vital capacity, total lung capacity. That is chapter lung capacities and chapter lung volume. The lung volume, that is the tidal volume, inspirated reserve volume, expirated reserve volume and residual volume. And this is the spirometer. Then we measure the pulmonary volumes. For pulmonary volumes and added together, equal the maximum volume of which the lungs can be expanded. The significance of each of these volumes are the following. That is the tidal volume. First, the tidal volume. It is the volume of air inspired or expired each normal breath. It amounts to about 500 milliliter in the normal adult male. কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে তো, তাই না? শোনা যাচ্ছে না? আচ্ছা, tidal volume, it is the volume of inspired or expired air which is in normal breath. It amounts about 500 milliliter in adult male. মানে যখন এই নেওয়া হয়, যতটুকু আমরা air inspired or expired করি each normal breath, that is called the tidal volume. It is about 500 milliliter. Inspirated reserve volume. It is the extra weight. The definition is very important. Inspirated reserve volume. It is the extra volume of air that can be inspired over and above the normal tidal volume. When the person inspires with full force, it is usually equal to about 300 milliliters. Inspirated reserve volume. That is the extra volume of air that can be inspired over and above the normal tidal volume when the person inspires with full force. That is equal about 3000 milliliter. That is the extra volume of air. Above normal inspirational pore যতটুকু নেওয়া যায়, that is called the inspiratory reserve volume. It is about 3000 milliliter. The expiratory reserve volume is the maximum extra volume of air that can be expired by forceful expiration after the end of normal tidal expiration. This normally amounts to about 1100 milliliters. The expiratory reserve volume, it is the maximum extra volume of air that can be expired by forceful expiration after the end of normal tidal expiration. It is about 1100 millimeter. মানে it is normal expiration এর পরে আমরা কতটুকু মানে ফোর্সফুলি এক্সপায়ার করতে পারি সেইটাকে বলা হচ্ছে নরমাল কি নরমাল নরমাল কি বলে এক্সপিরেটরি রিজার্ভ ভলিউম দিস ইজ অ্যাবাউট 1100 milliliters. Residual volume, it is the volume that remaining in the lungs after the most forceful expiration. This is called the residual volume. It is about 1200 milliliters. Residual volume, that is amount of air that is remains within the lung after the forceful expiration, that is called the residual. Forceful expiration করার পরেও যে অল্প পরিমাণ যতটুকু পরিমাণ air within the lung alveoli, that is called the residual volume. This is residual volume is most important because it prevents the collapse of the lungs. এটা হচ্ছে গ্রাফটা কিন্তু খুব আসে পরীক্ষায় আসে ক্যাপাসিটি এবং ক্যাপাসিটি এবং ভলিউমের draw and label the diagram, draw and label the lung volumes and capacities. Now the lung capacities, inspiratory capacities, functional residual capacities, vital capacity and total lung capacity. The pulmonary capacity, describe events of the pulmonary cycle. It is the sometimes desirable to consider two or more of the volumes together. Thus, combination are called the pulmonary capacity. They are as follows. The inspiratory capacity, it equals the tidal volume plus the inspiratory reserve volume. This is the amount of air a person can breathe in beginning at the normal expiratory level and discharging the lungs to a maximum amount. Inspiratory capacity. It is the tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume. That is the amount of air that a person can breathe beginning of a normal expiratory level and discharging the lungs to a maximum amount. And that is the normal breath plus inspiratory reserve volume. That is that is called the inspiratory capacity. It is about 3500 milliliters. The inspiratory capacity, that is tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume. Inspiratory capacities. Then functional residual capacity. It equals to the expiratory reserve volume plus residual volume. It is the amount of air that remains in the lung at the end of the normal expiration. It is about 2300 milliliters. Expiratory reserve volume, that is the কতটুকু সে এক্সপেল করতে পারে plus residual volume. This is the amount of air that remains in the lung at the end of the normal expiration. That is about 2300 milliliters. It is the functional residual capacity. Vital capacity, very most important, that is the vital capacity. It equals the inspiratory reserve volume plus the tidal volume plus the expiratory reserve volume. It is the maximum amount of air that a person can expel from the lungs after first filling the lung to their maximum extent and then expiring to the maximum extent. That is the it is the amount of air. Normally forceful inspiration e কতটুকু নিতে পারলাম, আবার forceful expiration করে কতটুকু বের করলাম. That is the vital capacity. It equals the inspiratory reserve volume plus tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume. That is the maximum amount of air that a person can expel from the lungs after first filling the lungs to the maximum extent and then expiring to the maximum extent. That is about 46 millimeters. Total lung capacity. It is the maximum volume of which the lung can be expanded with the greatest possible effort, about 5800 millimeters. It is equal to the vital capacity plus the residual volume. Total lung capacity. It is the maximum volume to which the lung can be expanded with the greatest possible effort. It is equal to the vital capacity plus residual volume. It is about 5800 milliliters. All the pulmonary volumes and capacities are about 20 to 25% less in women than in men. They are thus greater in large and athletic people than in small and asthmatic people. Total lung capacity is vital capacity plus residual vital capacity plus residual volume. It is about 5800. All the pulmonary volumes and capacities is 20 to 25% less in women, and they are the greater in large and athletic people, and the small and then in small and asthmatic people. Factors affecting the vital capacity. And factors affecting the vital capacity. That is the force of contraction of the respiratory muscles, airway resistance, elastic work, age, sex, etc. Force of contraction of the respiratory muscle. Vital capacity is mostly depend on the respiratory muscle. Mainly depend on most of the contraction of the respiratory muscles, then airway resistance and elastic work of the lung. After that is the age. In case of vital capacity, more in younger people than in the more in younger people than old person. Sex, in case of male, it is more in case of female, 25% is more in female. Surface area. In case of body surface area, there is more. Highly weight and surface, the vital capacity proportional to that. Vital capacity. Posture, low in lying position and highest in slightly declined position. Posture, the lying position is the low high, highest in slightly declined position. Diseases of the lung and chest wall. Diseases of the lung and chest wall যদি হয় তাহলে এটা থাকে lung and chest wall এটা থাকে তাহলে vital capacity কম হয়. What is the importance of the vital capacity? It gives an idea about the strength of the respiratory muscle. A vital capacity, it is the measure of the respiratory muscle. And if the respiratory muscle is more prominent and more strong, then the vital capacity is more. So it gives an idea of about the strength of the respiratory muscle. It is an important lung function test. You know the different chest diseases. We measure the lung function test. That is the measure the test. That is the lung function test. It indicates the efficiency of lung in the act of ventilation. Efficiency of lung in the act of ventilation. It gives an idea about the progress of pulmonary disease. That is that tuberculosis, asthma, etc. So the importance of vital capacity. Vital capacity is very much important in detail and vital. Vital capacity gives an idea about the strength of respiratory muscle. Important lung function test. It indicates the efficiency of lung in the act of ventilation. It gives an idea about the progress of pulmonary diseases, that is tuberculosis and asthma. Now, FEV1. Forced expiratory volume in 1 second. What is FEV1? It is of clinical importance. The fraction of vital capacity expired during first second of forced expiration is called the forced expiratory volume at first second, FEV1. That is the fraction of the vital capacity which expired in first second. That is called the FEV1. Vital capacity is time, that means that the percentage of vital capacity that is expired in first second and third second are determined. Time vital capacity. This vital capacity is measured in which is expired in first, second and third second. Normal FEV1 is 83% in first second, 93% in second, and 97% in third second. That is the FEV1 time vital capacity. That is called the forced expiratory volume in first second. The fraction of vital capacity which is expired during first second of a forceful expiration is called forced expiratory volume at first second. Vital capacity is time, that means that the percentage of vital capacity that is expired in first second and third second are determined. Normally FEV1 is 83% in first second, 93% in second, and 97% in third second. That is FEV1. This is the diagram of normal FEV1. Normal FEV1, it measures the first second, that is the 40 liters, FBC 50 liters, percentage FEV1 divided by FBC is equal to 80%. In case of some obstructive disease, if the obstructive disease, that is the, in case of FEV1 obstructive disease, that is obstruction is both the FEV1 and FBC, both are small, that is the both amounts are small, that is the FEV1 is 7 liters, FBC is 2.5 liters, the percentage is the 28%. Restrictive lung disease, FEV1 22.2 liters and FBC is 2.5 liters, FEV1 percentage is 88%. It is a restrictive lung disease. So in case of normally that is 83%, then 90% and 97%. So what is the importance of FEV1? If FEV1 is found less than 80% in first second, then there is obstruction of somewhere in the air passage, that is asthma. If FEV1 is less than 80% in the first second, then there is the obstruction is somewhere in the air passage, that is asthma. That is the যখন নিচ্ছে তখন ভালো থাকতেছে, কিন্তু যখন স্কুল করতেছে তখন কম হচ্ছে, that is FEV1 টা first second কম হয়ে যাচ্ছে, that is 80%. Below than 80%, that is the obstructive lung disease. This is the respiratory passes, alveolus, pulmonary arteries. Now the dead space. এই জিনিসটা anatomical dead space এর সাথে বলা লাগছে, কিন্তু তারপরে বলা নেই। এখন this is all about the vital capacity, FEV1 and pulmonary volumes and capacities. Now the dead space. Some of the এটা বলা হয়েছে আগে, that is the dead space is the conducting zone which conduct the air passes from the air from the nose to the terminal bronchioles. This is called the conducting zone. This is also the dead space. Some of the air a person breathes never reaches to the gas exchange area, but simply fills the respiratory passage where gas exchange does not occur, such as the nasal nose, pharynx, trachea, and this air is called the dead space air because it is not useful for the gas exchange. It is the this air is remain within the conducting zone. So this conducting zone is also called the dead space area, and this air within the dead space is called the dead space air. Normal dead space volume is the normal dead space air in the young adult human being is about 150 milliliters. 150 milliliters. Some of the air a person breathes never reaches to the gas exchange areas, but simply fills the respiratory passage where the gas exchange does not occur, such as the nose, pharynx, trachea, etc. There is called the dead space air because it is not useful for gas exchange. The types of dead space. Two types of dead space, that is one anatomical dead space and physiological dead space. Anatomical dead space, this is the amount of air that remains within the conducting portion of the respiratory system with each phase of the respiration is called the anatomical dead space. It is about 150 milliliter. Anatomical dead space, that is the conducting zone, that is called the anatomical dead space. This amount of air which remains within the conducting zone portion of the respiratory system is called the anatomical dead space. And physiological dead space in normal human being, anatomical dead space and physiological dead space are the same. But if any non-functioning alveoli is present, that is called the physiological dead space. This is the amount of air that is equal to the anatomical dead space plus volume of air in the alveoli having no blood supply. That is the non-functioning alveoli is called the physiological dead space. That is the alveoli, but there is no blood supply. That is no gas exchange. That is called the physiological dead space. Get the no blood supply, but air within the lungs. No gaseous exchange area. No gas exchange. This is called the physiological dead space. The anatomical dead space and physiological dead space. Importance. Anatomical dead space air, it saturates the inspired air by the water vapor before reaching the alveoli and helps to removing the particles having a size more than 2 micron. A physiological dead space air, it gives an indication about the condition of the lung and indicates the ventilation perfusion ratio. It indicates the ventilation perfusion ratio. Anatomical dead space is the it saturates the inspired air. এটা কিন্তু পরীক্ষায় ধরা হয় যে what is the importance of dead space air? Because this conducting zone where the air is saturated the inspirator with the water vapor before reaching the alveoli. So when the air enters into the alveoli before it reaching to the gas exchange areas, the air is mixed with the water vapor. So water molecule of the air is more than atmospheric air. Helps in the removing of the particles having the size more than 2 microns. If any particles having more than 2 micron enters into this conducting filtered by the conducting zone. Physiological dead space air. Physiological dead space, it gives an indication about the condition of the lungs and indicates the ventilation perfusion ratio. Physiological dead space air, it gives an indication about the condition of the lungs, indicates the ventilation perfusion ratio. It gives an indication about the condition of the lungs and indicates the ventilation perfusion ratio. Now, alveolar ventilation. Alveolar ventilation per minute is the total volume of new air entering into the alveoli and adjacent gas exchange areas in each minute. It's called the alveolar ventilation. It is equal to the respiratory rate times the amount of new air enters into this area in each breath. That is called the alveolar ventilation. That is the total volume of new air entering the alveoli and adjacent gas areas. This is the amount of air, that gas exchange, that is called the alveolar ventilation, into times the frequency. Alveolar ventilation is equal to frequency into tidal volume minus dead space volume. 12 into 12 per minute into 500 minus 150 equal to 4200 milliliter per minute. That is the alveolar ventilation. That is, alveolar ventilation means that it is the amount of air that enters into the alveolar and takes part in the gaseous exchange is called the alveolar ventilation. That is, the amount of air which takes part in the gaseous exchange is called the alveolar ventilation. You know the gaseous exchange tidal volume is 500 milliliter and gas volume is 150 milliliter. So, the gaseous exchange occurs in the 350 milliliter. So you can say 12 per minute into 350 equal to 4200 milliliter per minute. That is the alveolar ventilation. Now pulmonary ventilation. Pulmonary ventilation, it means the inflow and outflow of air between the atmosphere and the lung area. And pulmonary ventilation equal to respiratory rate into tidal volume. That is 6000 milliliter per minute. Pulmonary ventilation. খুব very important. এটা কিন্তু পরীক্ষার সময় সবসময় ধরা হয় যে what is pulmonary ventilation and what is alveolar ventilation. That is the pulmonary ventilation. It is the amount of new air into the inflow of air and outflow of air between the atmosphere and lung alveoli. That is called the pulmonary ventilation. মানে কতটুকু air ঢুকলো না কতটুকু air বের হলো. That is called the pulmonary ventilation. Pulmonary ventilation equal to respiratory rate into the tidal volume. And the respiratory rate is 12 and tidal volume is 500, so 6000 milliliter per minute is the pulmonary ventilation. And alveolar ventilation, it is the amount of air which takes part in the gaseous exchange is called the alveolar ventilation. Now the pulmonary function test. This is all about the pulmonary ventilation. এরপর আছে pulmonary function test. এটা কি শুরু করব? হ্যালো? একটু শোনা যাচ্ছে?
ম্যাম এটুকু থাক আজকে নেক্সট ডেতে স্টার্ট করব।
সময়ও লাগবে pulmonary ventilation. তাহলে নেক্সট রোববারের দিন ওইটা পালমোনারি ফাংশন টেস্টটা আমি যতটুকু হলো এর মধ্যে কি কোনো সমস্যা আছে তোমাদের? হ্যাঁ?
নো ম্যাম।
হ্যাঁ? যেগুলো বললাম যে পালমোনারি অ্যালভিওলার প্রেসার কি ট্রান্সপালমোনারি প্রেসার প্লোরাল প্রেসার তারপর মেকানিজম অফ ব্রিদিং কমপ্লায়েন্স অফ দ্য লাং এগুলো ডেফিনিশন কিন্তু খুব ভালো করে পড়া লাগবে। তারপরে যে ভাইটাল ক্যাপাসিটি মানে পালমোনারি ভলিউমস এন্ড ক্যাপাসিটিস এগুলো কিন্তু ডেফিনেশন এবং পরীক্ষা কিন্তু খুব বেশি আসে। তারপরে দেন হচ্ছে অ্যালভিওলার ভেন্টিলেশন এন্ড পালমোনারি ভেন্টিলেশন। তো ঠিক আছে, নেক্সট ক্লাসে পালমোনারি ফাংশন টেস্ট।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম ম্যাম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম ম্যাম।
আচ্ছা,
আসসালামু আলাইকুম ম্যাম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম ম্যাম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম ম্যাম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম ম্যাম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। কি
হচ্ছে না।